Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Conversations with Cal. Today is April 23rd, 2023, and we have a great guest with us today. We have Jaylen Conway, and Jaylen was one of my former students in my very first class back in 2017 in Lincoln. I had him in seventh grade math, I had him in basketball, I had him in track, and we are reconnecting now. So, Jaylen, great to have you. How you been, man?
Yes, sir. Great to be here. It's great, man. I've been good. How you doing?
So good. It's crazy. I remember vividly having you in class and you stood out amongst your peers for several different reasons, but I want to start off by sharing a quick story and we'll kind of see where you recall this because it was just so funny. And I want to write a book one day about teaching middle school and junior high, and this would definitely be in there. So we're taking a test, teaching Jaylen's class, and Jaylen gets done with his math test before most kids and grabs his pencil and decides, well, I'm looking around, everyone else is testing, and he smashes the pencil on his forehead and completely takes me by shock. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, is he okay? Did he just give himself a concussion? So I walk up to you, Jaylen, and I'm like, all right, like you're aboard. I can tell you finished your test. And I give you a note card or a little sticky note. And I say, I want you to write down your top 10 favorite athletes just to give you something to do. Do you remember me
Yeah,
doing this at all?
I do remember this. I remember this. This was
Okay.
like your first day. I was like, new teacher. I was already woke up in the morning because like at school, that's something exciting, something new. Like, oh, we got a new teacher today. Like, can't
Mhm.
wait to meet him. Like, I was trying to put a face on you. Like, you're this young dude. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because like there wasn't a lot of teachers at the school. It was like you and like Mr. Calvin, like same age. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
cool. You know what I mean?
So I actually have the note pulled up. I took a picture of it, and this was your list of top 10 favorite athletes back in 2017 as a seventh grader. Number one, LeBron James.
Yes,
Two,
sir.
Kevin Durant. Three, Anthony Rizzo. Four, Anthony Davis. Five,
Yes.
myself.
Yes,
Six,
sir.
six, Stephen Curry. Seven, Michael Jordan. Eight, Tiger Woods. Nine, Lonzo Ball. 10, LaMelo Ball. Now, the fact that you said myself at five was just the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So tell me a little bit about what you remember about that list.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know, you just gave me the note card. I was like our first interaction with each other, and then you told me to write down my favorite athlete. So I already knew I was gonna like you because I like sports, and you said write down your favorite athlete. So I'm like, all right, I like him. And then yeah, I just wrote it down. I was like, gotta include myself, you know,
Yeah.
got to. I play basketball, so I was like, myself, of course.
And did I ever send that picture to you? I feel like I did at some point because
Of the
in
note
it,
card.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah,
also got the note card that you sent me for graduation. I don't remember if I ever said thank you for that, but if I didn't, thank you.
I appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that. That was very nice.
Yeah. I mean, as a teacher, I remember, you know, I remember a lot of kids, but you're definitely one that stood out. And with it being my first time ever teaching, like I remember the little things like what you did with your pencil and some of the interactions we had at basketball and at track and all those things. So
Oh, I loved basketball with you.
I
I loved it. Dude, we sucked, but I loved it. We were
tell
god awful, Coach Danicky.
tell me a story because you guys
Oh man, I loved it. It was so fun, but I just wish we were good, man. Like we had the potential to be good, I think. Like I really do.
you did. And I remember going into your eighth grade year because your seventh grade year I wasn't coaching in the program because I had just started. But in eighth grade, yeah, you guys didn't win a lot of games, but I remember you were like, "Hey, I don't care. I'm dribbling up. I'm taking my shots. I'm getting mine, and we're just going to go out here and have fun." So it was definitely a fun group. Going from that eighth grade season and not seeing a ton of success into your high school career as a basketball player, I want you to just kind of touch on what it was like playing 4 years for Lincoln High School, because that is a program that's well known around the state with a great coaching staff, with a great history. And for you to stick it out for 4 years and do what you did, I was so proud of you. And that was something that I look back on and just say, like, I'm so proud of Jaylen for that. So tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
thanks.
what was it like for those 4 years?
Um, yeah, it was It was great, like if I just rated it overall, but there was definitely some times where I just wanted to quit, really. Like, didn't get the playing time I wanted or whatever it was. That's honestly pretty much all it was. But I just liked the sport a lot, so I was really never gonna quit. I might have said I was gonna quit, but there was no way I was gonna quit. I just like basketball that much, and like I just like being with like just like my buddies, man. Like we would just have some good times. Like I loved it. I really did like it a lot. I enjoyed it so much, and
Yeah.
like yeah, it was a good time. Like Coach Howe, he's a good coach. Coach Greg, I liked him. Coach E, he's hilarious. We had a great time. And like yeah, I liked competing in practice with like my sophomore year. It was like I'm trying to think who were the yeah my sophomore year. It was the 2020 year, the COVID year. Like
Uh-huh.
the J because I was on JV as a sophomore, but the sophomores and the varsity would practice together. Like we scrimmage against them like for to get them ready for like the next game. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
like act out the other team's schemes and then play them just so they can get a look for it.
Mhm.
And like I'd be guarding, we play them and we guard them man to man and play them in zone. And I just love competing against D boy, man. Because he's physical and he likes to bump and stuff and like he's just awesome to play with and I like guarding him. But yeah, I just liked all the practices and just the bus rides. Like it was just a good time. It was just awesome. Yeah.
How would you compare your high school experience to your junior high experience in terms of whether it was how much fun or what you got from each experience? Because I know I had you in junior high, but then in high school, I'm just watching games and kind of an
Yeah.
outsider and watching through YouTube from Florida, which was super fun to
Yeah.
do.
But that's a good question. Junior high experience was, if I'm gonna say, it was probably more. I don't want to say it was more fun, but it was probably more fun because I feel like I was the best on my junior high team. Like I think I
Uh,
was the best player on the team. If anybody's on that team sees this, I was the best on the team. Let's not even be like that. But yeah, I was just the best on the team. So like I had the ball all the time. If I wanted to shoot it, I was gonna shoot it. And if I wanted to pass it, I was gonna pass it. Uh, but comparing it to the high school, um, I kind of liked high school probably more though, because like I found a role and like I was really good on defense. I love playing defense, but I just feel like I never got the confidence on offense. Like I practiced so much, but like I practiced so much. And like if we we're outside like at the reg scrimmaging 5-on-5, like I'd kill, like shooting pull ups, like everything. Like and then
mhm.
I get to the game, like in practice, I'm practicing hard and like in scrimmages, I'm playing decent. Then like get in the game, it's like man, just like the confidence was just not there. I really wish I would have knew like how to fix that. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean?
I do because I had the same experience that you did in high school where as a freshman, sophomore, junior, I wasn't getting the minutes I thought I wanted and I was disappointed, but I was never to the point where it got too much to me because like you said, my
Exactly.
friends, the atmosphere,
Exactly.
everyone's
I just
coming to the
loved
game.
it.
Like you
You've
just eat
been to
that
the
up.
Lincoln Regular games, running out the tunnel, dude. I'm like, as a
Yeah.
little kid, I'm like, that's all I want to do. If I get to do that, you know what? If I don't play, man, whatever. Obviously, I want to play, but I'm here. I'm on the team. Not too many people go 4 years. Like a lot of people quit. So
They
like, I'm just
do.
proud of myself.
Yeah, and for making it 4 years through that program is an accomplishment in itself. So, um, what would you say to a current high school kid who's thinking about quitting because they're not getting the minutes they deserve from your story itself? Because you're a testament to hard work paying off, and for whatever it's worth, you made it through. And what would you say to someone who's thinking, "Well, I'm not playing. I don't want to do this."
I just tell them to keep doing it because if you really like basketball, you're not gonna want to stop. Like I really loved going to practice every day. Like I like hooping. Like I really just like to play. Like at outside basketball practice, I really love to hoop. So like just playing, like if you really like it, don't quit. But I mean, if you really feel like that, if that's what you want to do, then I mean, that's what they want to do. But I don't think you should quit because you're. I mean, you're only in high school for 4 years. If I would have quit, then like I wouldn't have. Now I could be looking back and possibly regretting quitting, and I don't regret quitting because I didn't quit.
Mhm.
And
No,
I know if
that's
I probably would have quit now that I graduated, I'd be like, man, I should have played. But now I don't have to worry about that because I didn't quit.
yeah. I just love that. Like, there's a few kids from Lincoln that made it all the way through, and I'm just like, I'm just proud as a coach because I see you guys at 12 years old, 13 years old, and I know you have the love for the game, but to have the dedication with that to go through all 4 years, especially in that program, is just
Yeah,
incredible. So that's awesome. I wanted to switch subjects a little bit, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. So social media is a big topic. It's been a big topic for many years. So
yeah.
my question to you is, for someone who grew up in an era of social media from when you can remember, Snapchat and everything was very prominent in your life, what was that like for you growing up with social media at the palm of your hands? And if you preferred, would you prefer to grow up in a different generation where that was not available?
Um, I honestly like the time I grew up in because everything's just right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in a way, there's pros and cons to it, but I feel like if you really look at it, there's more pros than cons. Because like everything's just makes it less of a hassle. Like I can just pull out my phone and I can look up anything. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, then you got social media. The cons on the side of it is, I mean, like anybody can post anything they want. Like not much false stuff we probably read every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't even. It's probably not even true. And like people can just say whatever. Like I think that's the most. I think people love to get onto the internet and say whatever because they're behind the screen.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of goes hand on with like I saw a thing on the TV. It was like cyberbullying and like that kind of goes with that. Like people making fun of each other or like whatever the case may be. Like that's a con to it. But I think it has more pros. I mean, I kind of like the generation I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to experience like maybe growing up in like the '90s or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Why not? I mean, I'd love to experience it, but I like my era. I really
Yeah.
do.
And I ask my students that occasionally, and most of them have the answer you do, which is, oh, I love it. Like, we have access to everything. Um, there's more pros to cons to it. I think of just something that a student brought up to me recently, and I thought this is mind blowing, which is, I think someone was like, I don't go to the bathroom in the stalls at the school. And I said, why not? And they said, because people are pulling their phones under the stall and taking pictures and posting it. And
Yeah, see, that's where it becomes people just not using it right. Like there's proper ways to use it. That is not a proper way.
correct. And when I heard that, I was like, if someone has to think twice about going to the bathroom in public, that means that there's just some
Yeah,
some
because
stuff going
that's a
on.
big con. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
So
not right. That's weird. That's weird. Taking pictures of people using the bathroom.
yeah.
That is actually a crime.
So out of the social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, if you want to call it that, Facebook, Twitter, kids your age, you say, would gravitate towards which one the most and why?
Um, I don't know. As of right now, I'd probably say TikTok. Like TikTok
Mm-hmm.
is really big. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows TikTok. My grandma's like 55. She has TikTok. That's kind of like a way to compare. Like if something's really big, if my grandma's like hip to it, it's like
Mm-hmm.
okay, then this is really big because she doesn't care. But like if
Mm-hmm.
she knows about it, it's got to be big. And like she scrolls on TikTok, so literally everybody has TikTok.
Okay.
Not everybody, but majority.
Yeah. And are you someone that likes to post, or would you rather just scroll through and watch?
I post. I mean, if I want to post something sometimes, but most of the time I just scroll through and watch.
Okay. Do you
If
remember
there's
what
like a
Vine
funny
was?
trend or something. Oh yes,
Okay.
Vine.
Okay.
Yes,
See, I was
I'm actually
really
was.
I was
I was
really
a
into
fan.
Vine back in 2013, 14, and loved it, and like was almost addicted to it. I
Yeah,
I don't really mess with TikTok too much just because I don't know, it doesn't appeal to me as much. I'm sure it would if I got on it a little bit more, but
yeah.
it reminds me of how much I was into Vine, and that's kind of where my students and a lot of people around the world are just at with TikTok right now.
Or I'd probably actually want to switch my answer on that question, probably to Snapchat
Okay.
because Snapchat, like everybody in my, at least like, see, I'm 19 right now, so everybody that graduated my class and like really just like the age gap between like I'm gonna say like even like 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds have Snapchat now.
Mhm.
Like my little brother Carter, he has Snapchat. He's like 9. So like from I guess from his age from to like even older than mine, like Snapchat. Like I've had the same Snapchat. Been using Snapchat for like 10 years straight now,
Uh-huh.
like every day.
That's your
And
form of communication.
that really so yeah, it's probably Snapchat's the biggest. That's like the form of communication is Snapchat for like people my age, even a little older and younger.
Huh. So I'm gonna definitely sound old asking you this, but how come when I text through iMessage my former players to see how they're doing, they won't respond to an iMessage, but they'll respond to a Snapchat immediately? I don't understand. What is that?
I I don't know, like that really Snapchat really is just like I don't know how it got like that. I don't because like how is I don't know why it's not just like another app where like you just get on it and you just get off. Like no, people actually like rely on Snapchat to like text each other now, and it's like I don't know. It's just somehow became that way. I really wish I knew how. Like but I don't know. I just remember I got Snapchat and then yeah, I've had it ever since, and I've probably got on it every single day for like 10 years straight. Really.
That's crazy you say that. I was having a conversation with my friend's brother who's your age, and he was asking me, like, what was communication like as you were growing up? And I said, well, it went from home phones, you got to call your buddy on the home phone, to MSN Messenger, getting on the computer when you go home to type in a chat box, to flip phones, like texting. I only had 250 texts a month was our limit. And then,
That was my first phone, the flip phone.
yeah.
Yep.
And then that later into high school, people started getting Facebook and Twitter really popped off like late in high
What about
school.
MySpace? Were you on MySpace?
I missed the MySpace era. It was there when I was in junior high. I chose not to do it. My friends were all on it and they all had a song like when you opened up their page and there was a top 8 friends list. And if you got taken off that friends list, you were like dead to people at school. It was a whole thing, but I never got really involved in MySpace. But it definitely was in there right before Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
So
because I've heard a lot about MySpace. Like, I'll get on Facebook and somebody will share something, be like, "Oh, the MySpace era," and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what that was." So, like, coming from Buffalo to like Lincoln, how's like that change? And like, I mean, you just got here, and then I don't know, everybody liked you. Like, everybody liked Mr. Danicky, Coach Danicky. I call you Coach Danicky, but everybody liked you, man. Like, you were awesome. My Aunt Rhonda, she loves some Coach Danicky, man.
so I was only born in Buffalo, only spent a few years there. I spent a majority of my life in Macomb, Illinois, which to
Yeah,
me I consider similar to Lincoln, just with a major university.
yeah,
So going to Lincoln when I first stepped in, I was coming straight from Illinois State, just got done with college, and I just loved it. Like when you said the kids liked me, like I liked you guys just as much. It was we just reciprocated our energy.
yeah,
Like I stepped into this school and I had no life experience. And I just told myself, because the year I was with you, I was filling in for Mrs. J on the maternity leave. So I
yeah,
told myself, I'm going to do everything I can to make this school want to hire me because I just wanted a job. I didn't care where I was living. I didn't care what I was doing. I needed to make money and I needed to pursue my passion. So
yeah,
that spring semester, I coached track. I tried to just meet every kid and connect on a deep level. And it makes me happy that you say that because I had so many fond memories in there. And I don't know if you remember this, Jaylen, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna do something funny. You guys were testing, you were about to take your state test in at
yeah.
the end of 7th grade. And I walked into each 7th grade class and it was so embarrassing, but I walked in and went, "Hey guys, good luck today on your test. No cheating, because that's a no. And this is a nay."
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. A
Do you
day,
really?
day. Yes, a day, day. That's hilarious.
And I
Everybody was probably like, because that's like that age where like 7th grade, like the 8th grade, I remember like going through that change of like stuff like that. Like it was fun, like it used to be funny, but then like
Mhm,
once you start getting to that, because not 7th and 8th grade, you're not really mature, but like you're about to
mhm.
hit high school and you kind of mature and you're like, okay, this stuff isn't cool anymore. That's not cool anymore. So we were probably like, I don't know, just the new teacher, look at him like, I don't know.
Right.
Just, you
I
know.
could I completely was like, I'm going in. I don't care what these kids think. I'm just gonna do it. And like some classes reacted like, oh my God. And some girls were like, please don't ever do that again, Mr.
Yeah.
Denicky. I'm glad you remember that though, because like I just told myself I want a reason to get back to this school. And I got so lucky that a social studies position opened up and I got to spend the 3.5 years there. And I have stories for a lifetime. Like
Yeah.
teaching is so much fun. And I tell people all the time that if you can get to a job where it doesn't feel like work, it just feels like you're showing up and just doing a normal thing, then you've made it. And that's
Yeah.
what it's been like for me. And it was like that in Lincoln and in Florida. It's getting to that point now where I'm just so enjoying, like middle school kids, like you said, are just in this awkward age of trying
Yeah.
to
That's
fit
like
in.
yeah,
And if you
exactly.
can be a role model in their life, like they're going to run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah. I honestly
So,
kind of felt bad for you, like on your first or it might have been your first or second day, but one of like your first 3 days, there was a fight, and I'm like, come on, guys, are you kidding me? Like, this is like his one of his first days, and you're already breaking up a fight. I'm like, gosh dang it, just like, come on. I was
that
like, he's probably not gonna like it here.
that was I remember every moment of that. And
Yeah,
I'll
I will
share real
never forget
quickly
that.
without saying any names because I'm not sure if it was in your class, but everyone definitely heard about it. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a math problem on the board, and a kid walks up to me and taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Mr. Denicky, are you going to do something about that?" And I go, "What?" And I turn around, and two kids are on the ground just throwing haymakers,
They were going
and
at
and
it.
I grab the one and start pulling them out of the classroom. And then I look down about 5 steps in, and there's not two of us leaving the classroom. There's three of us leaving the classroom. And she's got the girl by the hair. And it was the most insane adrenaline rush I think I've ever experienced. And I quietly walked down to the office and said, "Hey, I'm new here. I don't know if you guys know me." Like talking
Yeah.
to the assistant principal, like, "I'm Mr. Denicky. There was a fight in my classroom," just trying to like sort this thing out.
Yeah.
I had no idea what to do. And all the kids are like going crazy in the hallways. Like, I don't know what you remember about it, but it was like, whoa,
Oh
this
yeah, it was
what?
crazy. I
Yeah.
was like, well, it really honestly wasn't that crazy because it was kind of they kids kind of fought a lot in junior high for some reason. Like I don't know. I never personally got into fights, but all the time there'd be kids fighting. Like I'm like, oh, just another fight. But that was just crazy because it was one of your first days, and I was like, man,
He's not coming back.
yeah. I'm glad you came to the junior high though. I'm glad you didn't go to like one of the other junior highs here, like
Mhm.
West Lincoln or Chester East, because like I don't know, the junior high like the West Lincolns and like the Chester East, like when I was in junior high, it was like I had buddies at all the other schools. Like we all just knew each other because of like sports or whatever.
Mhm.
And like I honestly like how Lincoln's set up like that because like we all played against each other like in junior high,
Mhm.
and like you'd have a couple players at West Lincoln that were good. Like in my class, it was like Brody Whiteman, Elijah Paulus, like they were good. And then at Carroll, you had like Trent Keeler and Andrew Grau, and they were the good ones at there. And then at CEL, it was like Jaden Klopp and Tyler Saucy, they were good, you know. And
Mhm.
then like at the junior high, I don't know if they thought this about me. I thought I was decent, so maybe they thought that about me or not. But and then like you just get to high school and you guys all combine. It's like I just remember my first day of high school. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like everybody's here, like from all the junior highs. We're all just here. We're on the same team too. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's so unique how a town as small as Lincoln has so many feeder schools that go into the high school. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have that. We like where I grew up, it was we all went to the same school, we all went to the same high school. But like the fact that you mentioned you all come together and are like, okay, we're gonna join powers and make this
Yeah, exactly. Because it used to be rivalries, but the junior high, if yeah, you know, you didn't get to play in like the county tournament,
Mhm.
and like because we're a 3A school, we're the biggest junior high. But I mean,
Uh-huh.
I wish we would have got to play, man. I really wanted to compete against them,
Yeah, I
even though
know.
we played them. I forgot when we played them though, but because it wasn't at county. But yeah, I just wish we could have been in that tournament.
Yeah. So I got another story I want to share with you because there's a lot that I remember about your experience with me, and that was your 8th grade year in track. There was a race off to see who would get on the relay team, I believe. And
Yeah,
it was a
I
100-meter
remember this.
dash.
Wow,
Yeah.
forgot about this.
And you raced against maybe 4 or 5 other guys,
Yeah,
and you didn't make it,
yeah, I
and
lost.
you lost. And Jaylen, you were down pretty hard that day. I
I
remember it.
was, I was, I was, I was sad. I was like, dang, man, I
You,
was
you,
ready to run.
yeah, you were down. So what I remember about that was I walked up to you, and my approach is just, hey, I'm gonna be cool. I'm not gonna put you down. And I think I remember I told you something like, hey, there's there's gonna be more opportunities to run. There's gonna be more opportunities to get on the team. And you know, you responded pretty well to it, but I was just kind of having that approach where I don't want to offend you. I know you're feeling it right now, and I'm just here to, be there for you. And I remember talking to Coach Cannon, who was also coaching the team at the time, and he said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you approach it a lot differently than I would have, Coach Denicky." He goes, "I would have told Jaylen, you suck. Like, better
Yeah.
luck next time. Like, tough love." And it
Yeah.
kind of it kind of showed our differences in how we approach things. So, what do you remember about that?
Oh yeah, I just remember we're yeah, like you said, the race off. I was like, because I remember like I think I was in the relay, and then like somebody else wanted to be in it, so there had to be a race off, and then yeah, and I lost, and I was like pretty upset I didn't get on it, and um yeah, I remember I was down, and I remember you coming up to me and just trying to encourage me, but I didn't know that that's what Coach Cannon would have said. But he was like that though. I liked him too. He was like that though. But
Yeah.
if he would have said that, it would have been only out of love, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone has a different approach to it. And I always try to, I mean, I've kept the same demeanor pretty much since I started teaching and coaching. So
Yeah.
I actually posted that video on my YouTube page. If you want to check it out, it's called like 100-meter middle school 100-meter dash. So if you want to check out the race, it's on my
Wait, it's
page.
still on there?
It's on there. It's probably got like
Wow.
37 views,
I
but
was slow, man. I still had like some baby fat on me like in 8th grade, like going like really freshman year, the summer going from freshman year to sophomore year. That's when I like lost all my like all the baby fat, and like I got quick, and like yeah, and that's when it got good.
yeah. Speaking of baby fat, before hopping on the pod, I pulled out. I have a stack of yearbooks. I've got 6 of them from all 6 years I've been teaching, and I found your picture from 7th grade. So we'll see if the camera can pick it up. But
Oh man. Yeah,
there's
check out the face. Wow.
there's little J baby.
Yeah, J baby, yeah.
So I thought
Wow.
I'd pull that out. I got another question for you because I'm living in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is the home of Rod Wave. And I know you and I are friends on Facebook. And one day I get on there and I see little Jaylen goes, unpopular opinion, Rod Wave is mid. And for those of you that don't know what mid means, Jaylen, you can explain it and then kind of go into detail because, I'm a huge hip hop fan. I got my 2 favorite albums behind me, but I need to hear a little about that because I'm a big Rod Wave
Kendrick
fan.
and Cuddy, yes,
Yes,
good
yes, sir.
choices. Round of applause. Good choices. They must have my favorite artists too. But what do you want me to explain? You want me to explain why Rod Wave is mid or what?
Explain to the people what mid means in case they're over the age of 40, and then why you're not really into his music or have an opinion on it.
Um, I mean, I think he's got a couple good songs, but yeah, the opinion of mid, I mean, it's really simple. It's just it's really just just like eh. He's all right. Not my
Mhm.
favorite, not the best, just eh. That's really what mid is. Just yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
but I don't know, man. I just can't. I think he's got a couple good songs, but I don't know. I'm more like a Kanye West type guy. Like I like Kanye. I really like Kanye. That's one of my favorites. I like his
Okay.
music.
That doesn't surprise me. You've always given me like an old school type vibe. So,
Yeah.
Kanye always had hits before you were in junior high, before I met you. So yeah, Rod Wave grew up
Oh,
here in this city. He went to the middle school that I taught at. So I'm just
yeah. I bet down
indulged in
there,
the culture.
Rod Wave crazy.
It's
Yeah.
different. Like I went
Yeah.
to his first concert post COVID in Tampa, which was like his homecoming concert, and it just gave me chills down my back seeing all
Yeah.
these
I bet.
people. I mean, 15,000, and yeah. So
Did you
I'd
have
have
fun?
to. Oh, it was amazing, and to like see my students there who idolize him and grew up in the
Yeah.
same neighborhood. It's really cool. So
Yeah.
I just remember getting on and seeing that and thinking that was funny. So
Yeah. I got a question for you,
hit me.
actually. Um, I wanted to ask you about how is that? I want to talk to you about that team that you took to state with Gabe on it and Keon and
Hmm.
Kanai and Aiden.
Hmm.
How was that, man? Because they did something I always wanted to do. Like, and I was a little jealous because I'm like, dang it, Gabe's going to state. I never did that, but not jealous. That's my brother. I love him. Glad that they did that, but just like, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Gabe. I saw a video of him dunking the other day, and that just made
Dude,
me feel old.
dude, he grew like no other. Like that is one of the most massive growth spurts I've ever seen. Like one summer, me and him were like, I was still taller than him.
Hmm.
I'm only 5'10". I was still taller than him. And then by the school year is about to start, Gabe was like 6'1". I was like he is huge now. He's a big
Sprouted up.
kid. Yeah, he sprouted
So
up.
that was a great question. And I kid you not, I was having a conversation today with a friend, and I told him that that season, coaching Aiden, Keon, Gabe, Kanai, Deegan. I mean,
Deegan.
I could
That
name the
team
whole
was
team.
stacked, man. I was thinking about that. I'm like, they were stacked, dude.
That season was one of the best experiences of my life because
Yeah,
the year before, as seventh graders, they lost in the regional championship, and we
I
lost to
remember.
Athens, who ended up winning the state title. In that game, their coach ran a box and one on Deegan, our best shooter, and I was flat out completely outcoached. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It was something I had never seen before. So little did those kids know I was ready to move to Florida after that season. And
Hmm.
because I saw so much potential in those kids, I stayed in Lincoln another year to get revenge and to take that
Yes.
team as far as I could. And
Yes, sir.
we came back, and I boxed and won to them in the
Yeah.
regional championship. We won by 10. That game was so much fun, beating the defending state champs on their home floor after
Yes.
getting embarrassed the year before, going on to win the next game by a point at Auburn and taking that team to state was, I can't even
Oh yeah.
describe it. I had a vision of us putting a banner up in that gym, and I just kept staring up at the wall the entire year. And for us to accomplish that, I got my warm up on right now that
Yes,
those
I see
boys
that.
probably still have. It was such a great feeling, and to still be in touch with a lot of those kids today, and hopefully they're listening or get to listen to this, is even more satisfying because when I said goodbye to them, we were in the locker room. We lost by 2 points in the state quarterfinals, and
I was watching that game.
their hands are in their heads. There's 13 of the 14 just bawling their eyes out, and one, Keon, heart of a lion, stoic, is just staring up at me, no emotion. And I want a painting of that somewhere. It was such an emotional time for me because we made our goal, but we fell a little bit short when we got to state. But I knew I was leaving. I knew I was going to Florida, and I was leaving
Yeah.
this chapter of my life. And they didn't know at the time because I didn't announce it until later in the
Yeah.
school year. But I'm glad you asked that because I could talk about that season for hours.
Yeah.
I could talk about every game, every player, practice, like rap
I
battles
loved
we would
coming to
have,
the games.
pizza parties. Like that team was just fun to coach. And it
Yeah.
goes to show that when your best players are your hardest workers, it makes everything so much easy as a coach.
Yeah. I
So,
loved coming to your guys' games
mhm.
and come with my mom, watch Gabe and your guys' team. That's a really good team. I thought you guys were really good.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And, those boys
It
are going
was
to
good to
be,
see because especially because the junior high hadn't been that good since like Landon and like
Mhm.
their class, like Landon, Carson, Adam Grunder, Kyle Fry, Keegan Ferguson. Like that's like the last time we were really good.
Yeah, it had been a few years, and
Yeah.
to have a group for 3 straight years and to see them grow from 11-year-olds to 14-year-olds was one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wrap up with that, Jaylen, because we're running low on time.
All right,
But
man.
I appreciate the time. This was so much fun. I hope
Yeah, it
anyone
was.
gets to watch it. And I just appreciate you, and I appreciate you reaching out. This was a blast. So thank you
Yeah, it was. Appreciate it, man. It's good. It was good to catch up.
for sure. All right, take
Yeah.
it easy, man.
You too.
All right.